Niall Lawrence Stample is here, man. You were in that Florida State letter jacket. I didn't even know that they gave out letter jackets.
Yeah.
I thought that was only a high school only thing. I didn't know that really applied in college. That's cool.
Yeah, when they dropped them, I was like, definitely. It was a really cool moment because I was thinking the same thing. I was kind of surprised when I saw them, but yeah, super cool opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, like back in the 50s and everything, it was big, and you'd let your girlfriend wear your letter jacket, and how times have changed, All right, let's get right with it. Let's begin with Notre Dame. They get left out. They're not part of a 12-team college football playoff. Duke knocked off Virginia. They go 8-5. They win the ACC. Miami leapfrogs Notre Dame and is part of the 12-team playoff.
It's a crazy situation, and I'm so thrown and I'm so torn as far as what Notre Dame is doing and what they've kind of the example that they've set in college football. It's been tough to see and tough to watch. I'm kind of at a disagreement of a lot of people, but yeah, man, this is what new era college football looks like.
Mm-hmm. And I never thought I would do this because I'm old school, but I constantly am changing with the times. I look at this and I said, good for Notre Dame. They're doing what so many others do now in this sport or in college or that age group in period. I mean, it can be people who work here in town, sons and daughters. You spend 2 weeks somewhere, you don't like what your boss says, you say, Mom, Dad, I'm going to quit. We have taught these young men, these young women, that quitting is acceptable nowadays. It wasn't years ago, and this is another example of it.
This is a perfect example of it. And what sucks is that you have a large group, and again, when it comes to Florida State and a lot of the people wanting and wishing that we would have opted out versus in the Orange Bowl versus Georgia, it's really tough because I understand, and on the surface, there's so many reasons that make sense on why we shouldn't have played that game, but I think the Nole'n Nation should be very proud the fact that we went down to Miami, played Goliath with players that weren't really ready and stood what it was and stood on business when it came to what actual college football is about, which is grit, which is about, I don't care. One thing Odell always told me was, I don't care where we are. I don't care if we're in a parking lot, under a bridge, or wherever it is. I'm going to take my 22 and I'm coming versus your 22 and we'll see who wins. And that is it. I don't care if I get hit in the mouth or what, but I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to show up.
I don't even remember what my opinion was 2 years ago. I don't know if I even mentioned missing the bowl game. I mean, to me, it was all new. Now, looking back on it, I would take the opposite approach. I wish Florida State did what Notre Dame just did, simply because I've had people ask me almost weekly, did that 63-3 game, did that destroy Florida State to the point where they've won 7 games in the last 2 years? I've always been, no, that had nothing to do with it. Mike Norvell just can't coach. Now I'm wondering, is that legit, that hangover from that game?
The only reason why I can't imagine that being the hangover is because the players that played in that game had to make a decision whether they were going to quit or not. There's never been anywhere that I've ever found that players that actually play and don't quit are going to be the ones that get defeated. You have a certain type of mentality going into a game like that when you see the odds are stacked against you, but yet you still jump in that fire. There's no way for me to conceptualize the fact that us going down there and playing with someone, because Norvell found some of the guys that were going to ride for him that day, right? I don't know I feel very strongly that has absolutely no merit on what's going on right now. I think that's more of a situation we've already talked about, but I think that there's only positives that can come out of that. Georgia did the same. Georgia was in a very similar situation to Notre Dame. They got kind of snubbed a little bit in a sense, and they went and they played. Yeah. And then the next year they came in and they won the SEC championship again. So there is a lot to say about you biting. Okay, let's talk about this. You cannot want one thing and not the other. If you don't like players leveraging the portal, leveraging NIL, and using that as leverage and not having loyalty to their program, and then turn around and want and okay with an opt-out, it is basically you can't have your cake and eat it too, because unfortunately college football has changed. People do not like it, but opting out is something that is perpetuating that change. You can't have one without the other, Rick. You just can't.
I think it would have been handled differently, too, as far as the media is concerned. We saw the beginning of the ESPN propaganda about keeping Florida State out. I mean, Joe Tessitore is supposed to give you down and distance, and he wasn't. He was going on and on and on about, oh, my God, earlier Texas won today, Bama won. It's third and and then, with Reese Davis and Dr. Herbie, I think they would have highly criticized Florida State if they elected not to play in this game. Where with Notre Dame, to me, it's a built-in agenda. You're either a fan of Notre Dame or you're not a fan of Notre Dame, and your mind is made up. With Florida State, it would have been fluid, but I think they would have been crushed.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, and I think there's been a very, very clear picture as far as what people feel, and it sucks because it's very tainted when it comes to Nole'n Nation, because again, we kind of have that hangover and we have that bias attitude where if we didn't have that issue happen last year, I wonder what they would have kind of thought about that. But I think overall, when it comes to what Notre Dame did, I just can't see the good. People saying that they have kind of showed players that they shouldn't take crap from it. But realistically, what are they really showing them other than it's okay to kind of bow out when the situation doesn't go their way?
Maybe they knew. I'm under the impression, I don't know if you remember, I'm under the impression that Mike Alford and Mike Norvell didn't know that all of a sudden 28 guys were going to opt out. What if at Notre Dame, word had come out, Coach, we're not going to play. You're going to show up for this game, and you're going to have maybe not 28 players, but you could have a dozen. You could have 15 or so who say, I'm not playing in this bowl game. I'm transferring, or I'm going to the NFL, or I'm waiting for next year. What if that was kind of an underlining part of the story?
If that's an underlying part of the story, then Notre Dame they should be ethically held to a standard that they know college football needs to hear and state that. Yeah. We have had multiple people say they're not going to play in this game, and this is why. Not, hey, unfortunately, we're going to opt out, because college football as a whole is a culture. It's a culture that needs to be pushed. It's a culture that needs to have and reserve on that grit. So if you're talking about that, then Notre Dame was obligated to make sure that everybody understood what that was.
Now, Lawrence Stamble joining us, former Florida State Seminole, won a national title there, also played on the defensive line for the Cleveland Browns. All right, here's one for you, which is amazing. Manny Diaz, who's a Florida State grad, was fired as the head coach of Miami. He wins the ACC at Duke. Duke wins the Atlantic Coast Conference before Miami has won the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Yeah, that's got to be. I don't even know what that looks like. I honestly, there's really no reason for it. It's really hard to figure out how that's not a possibility, especially over the last 2 years. Obviously, Cristobal is his own kind of worst nightmare, but like that is still really surprising. Yeah. Every time I see that stat, I'm just like, that's still crazy that they have not won an ACC championship.
It shows how much we do not know, because when Florida State was in prior, but when Miami left the Big East and joined the ACC, the common thought was you're going to get a Florida State-Miami rematch every single year. You didn't see it once. Still to this day, you have not had it once.
Crazy. It is a hard concept to figure out, and who knows if they'll be able to. And that's crazy that they haven't won one, and now they're in the playoffs. It's honestly, it's a crazy thing.
Yeah. All right. Do you see anything in this college football playoff, either way that really sticks out for you? Do you look at one team? I mean, we saw what happened last year with the buys. These teams got clobbered a week after. It ended up being, number 7 against number 8, playing for the national title. So Have you had time to really analyze it and give it much thought?
I haven't had a ton of time to kind of break it down and see what makes the most sense. But regardless, I'm really happy that we're seeing some diversity in the brackets. That's really important. I think we should see diversity. We should see some teams that we typically wouldn't see, and that is what I feel like the college football playoffs was meant to do. So I'm happy we're seeing that. And yeah, I'll be definitely breaking some down to see kind of what it looks like.
Yeah, I holler quite a bit about how it's the same old, and betting wise, I would go that way. I think it's Ohio State, Georgia. I think one of those two teams is going to win a national title. But all of a sudden, you look at Indiana, man. You look at Texas Tech. You look at universities like that, Texas A&M. Could one of those teams that you would not normally consider? I mean, say what you want about A&M. They never finished better than third when Jimbo was there in the West, and they've had a great year. But can you see one of those three teams?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all about attrition. Like, what team can stay the most healthy and not suffer major blows to their depth chart? Like, that is going to be a big part of it. And that's what the college football playoff kind of tests, because you're having, obviously, stacked on these games, you're going to test that, and as well as that mental strength. So I think it's I wouldn't say it's anyone's game, because we're going to find out very quickly that it's not. But I do like that there's some opportunity there.
Yeah, some great first-round games. Miami, Texas A&M is going to be a whole heck of a lot of fun, and Alabama, Oklahoma again. They're going to have to do it for a second time. That's going to be cool. Let's wrap it up with Patrick Surtain. That's the big news out of Tallahassee. There's been a couple of coaching transactions with a few other position coaches leaving as well. But Patrick Surtain, is he the fall guy here now after being let go earlier in the week?
Yeah, man, it's a tough one. It seems like there were some other situations going on behind the scenes from some of the things that I've talked about. But
did he give Norvell the black eye?
Listen,
was it Surtain? Come on, did he wind up and punch him right in the face?
Listen. Regardless, the facts are, unfortunately, our secondary did not do very good this season, but the optics still have to matter. The program looks still have to matter. And it doesn't seem like that is the case when it comes to what's going on, which prompts the situations of other things kind of going on behind the scenes, because you don't get rid of your best recruiter when recruiting is probably your biggest issue. Your biggest issue, and why a lot of people cannot get behind you, is that you cannot recruit. Yeah. That is very difficult for you to get rid of without some sort of plan. And the fact that we haven't seen any other movement at all, I think is honestly a slap in the face to the fan base. I think it's a slap to the face. So I really don't love the way that he's going about it, or the higher ups are going about it. And we better see some answers or some moves being made. Nick Williams is going to be our new defensive ends coach, so I'm excited about that. I really like that hire. But other than that, it's been rough to watch. I don't like the way they're handling this offseason so far. Yeah.
Congratulations to the women's soccer team at
Big
Florida
time.
State. They won their 5th national title and their 3rd recently. Really impressive. All right, as we let you out of here, you're a business owner in town. What's going on at NLS Cleaning?
We're wrapping up the year, man. We're getting everything situated prior to Christmas, getting some clients' places cleaned up, getting their homes clean, pool decks, whatever it is, getting them ready for them to be able to have people over. But yeah, we do pressure washing, gutter cleaning, window cleaning. Give us a call, 904-708-8802. You can reach out to us on our website at nlscleaning.net. And yeah, especially going into next year, we would love to get your places cleaned up as far as your business or your homes ready to go for the new year.
Niall Lawrence Stample. Good to see you, man.
Yes, sir, Rick.
Always a lot of fun.